So today we're going to be talking about the importance of tracking your goals, your debt payoff, your savings, all of that jazz. So if you're interested in that, stick around till the end of the video. It is really important that you keep track of your financial goals. And there's a huge reason for that, because it's so easy to get lost in it. It takes so much time to really get a handle on things, get a handle on what you want to do with your finances. You know, a lot of us have so many dreams. It's like we want to save for this sinking fund, and we want to save for emergencies, but we also want to pay off all of our debt. And we've got credit cards, and we've got student loans, and we've got car loans, and all of this stuff. There's just so much to keep track of, and we want to do it all. We just want to get it all out there and get it done. The problem is it takes a long time to get all of that stuff done, and when you're trying to do all of it at once, you don't see any progress. So it is really, really important that we keep track of what our goals are. With that in mind, the first thing you need to do is you need to write down your goals. Now, if you have a partner with you, a husband, a wife, you need to talk to them first, and you need to tell them, like, this is what I think our goals should be, and they should be able to pitch in, and then you guys come to a compromise, because you really want to be moving forward in the same direction. If you're single, you can skip that step. All you got to do is write down your own goals, but you still need to write them down, because the thing is, once you get in the middle of it and then you start getting excited for the next step, you oftentimes forget that you're not supposed to move on to the next step quite yet, and you get so anxious you just start moving on to it before you're even ready to move on to it, and it just becomes a nightmare. And I know this from firsthand experience. Me and my husband, we came together, we agreed on our goals, we thought we were going in the same direction, and then before you know it, he's talking about buying a truck. And I'm like, that was not in the plan. I mean, it was, but like way down the line. And all of a sudden, he's wanting to do this. I'm like, I thought we were doing this. Now we're all confused. Especially with two people working towards a goal together, it gets really confusing really fast when you don't have the plan written down step by step by step. And it's great to do in a bullet point list, because you're like, here's what we're doing first. All right, first we want to pay off our credit cards. Next we want to pay off our student loans. And then we'll start saving for emergency fund. And then we'll start saving for a pickup truck. Whatever that goal pattern is, and you need to write it down. This pattern is going to be different for everyone, because there's so many financial people out there that'll tell you a different set of rules and a different pattern to follow. And a lot of them are black and white. It's like, this is what you have to do in this order. But really, it's different for every family. Every family starts at a different place. Every family has different priorities. Come up with a plan together so that you guys are moving in the same direction, and write it down. Put it somewhere common that you guys can see together. That you can celebrate the little successes, because yes, you want to celebrate the big win, the one that's like, whoo, we got all the debt paid off, and yay, we saved up our entire emergency fund. And that is fantastic. You need to celebrate those things so you don't skip over them, but you also need to celebrate the small successes. And you don't need to go extravagant with the small successes. You say, like, okay, we paid off $1,000 on our credit card this month. That's the most we've ever paid on the credit card in 1 month. You know what? We need to celebrate this. Celebration can be, let's bake some cookies at home. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It can be something small in order to keep doing and keep having that progress. But you need to celebrate it, because if you miss it and you skip over the small successes and you just push forward and push forward and push forward and say, I'm not at my goal yet, I'm not at my goal yet, I'm not at my goal yet. If you keep telling yourself that, you'll get in this depressed mode, in this funk, really, that just, you don't know, like you can't see like the end. You can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. You can't move past, because at some point you're gonna get stuck. You may be able to do that for a few months, but after a few months you'll get really, really exhausted. So it's important to track your progress and track the little success points along the way, so that you can celebrate like mini little things, so that way you know you're moving in the right direction and you're looking forward to the next step and the next step, because you're looking forward to it because you know that there's going to be another small reward, not a big thing, but another small one, and then another small one, and you're just enjoying life along the way, really. So make sure that you celebrate those small successes and keep track of them. Hold up a second. If you're liking this content so far, hit like on this video and hit subscribe if you want to see more videos just like this one and more financial advice on saving and being debt-free and not living paycheck to paycheck anymore. And let's get back to the video. One of the key ways that I keep track is I actually like to keep track visually. Yes, I can write stuff down on a paper and I can write down numbers, and that's great, and I mean that's a great way to celebrate the successes and the other stuff we've talked about. But there are other ways to do it, and once I found this, like, I was just like, oh, this is so perfect. I love tracking my goals, especially because I enjoy coloring. Yeah, I enjoy coloring, I enjoy drawing, I enjoy painting, and so when you can track your goals on something like this, where you're marking down and just coloring it as you go, saying like, oh, look at where we are, we're this far along and paying off debt. And I mean, you can do this with savings as well. It just goes a long way. And then when you can see this in your home, you can see like, oh, look at how far we've come. And you can celebrate that. So whenever you're feeling down and you're like, I just feel like it's never going to end, you look at this graph and you can go, look at how far we've come. Look at how much we've already paid off in debt. And it's just a fantastic way to get through it. And you know, and then not only that, but if you keep this, even after you're done paying it off completely, if you keep this around, you'll remember how painful it was to get to that step, and you'll go, I'll never want to do it again. I am never going to go into student loan debt. I am never going to go into any more credit card debt because I cannot handle going around this again. This is where I was. I paid it off, not going back. And that's a great, great reminder. And you can do this like any way you want. Like I colored this like with multicolors on it because, like I said, I like coloring. But you could do it in red. Now this is available to you for free. You can go download it on my website, thebrokebudget.com. I'll put a link in the description for you. It's very easy to download, and this is not the only one. This one's my student loan one. This is my actual student loan payoff, so you can see how far I've come. We were supposed to pay off $73,000. It is ridiculous how much of this we've paid off. And I was getting discouraged this last week, and I was just completely like, we are never gonna pay off our student loans. They are never ending. They're huge. I mean, it was mostly my fault because I was the one with the majority of the student loans, and I'm just like, it's never gonna get paid off. Like, I made a huge mistake, never gonna get out of it, but we're already like towards the top. How crazy is that? So when I was feeling down, I went and looked at this and I went, wow, you know what? We can do it. And there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is an end because I can see it now. And it motivated me to pay it off even faster, because now I'm like, well, if we're this close, we might as well do everything in our power to finish paying this thing off. Because as soon as it's paid off, we're done. We don't have to worry about student loans anymore. And I'm never going back. I'm never gonna ever get a student loan again. And so it's just a wonderful reminder. And this is why it is very, very important to keep track of your goals. It's important to write them down, know where you're going, because if you don't know where you're going, you'll get lost in the process. It's a long process. It takes time. And so knowing that, you really have to have that plan in place. You need to have visuals like this. Like I said, you can go download this for free on thebrokebudget.com. I just wanted to help you guys out with starting something like this, and I couldn't find like a thermometer like payoff for student loans specifically that was free, and I didn't like most of the ones even if I had to pay for them, so that's why I made this one. And there's more just like this that are for different categories, as well as saving categories that I have for free on my website, so you should go check that out. because I just want to help you guys out. But yeah, it goes a long way to track your progress. And when you get to the end, you can go, I'm debt free, and I paid off X amount of dollars in X amount of months or X amount of years. And that's why I also put on here like your starting date and your stopping date, as well as your goal amount, because you need to see this. You need to see this when you're at your end, and you can just go, oh, everything's paid off. I paid off $100,000 in debt. I paid off $200,000 in debt. I paid off $5,000 in debt. It doesn't matter. It is a huge, huge relief when you get to that final payoff and you're just like, yes, finally. So this is why I really recommend tracking it. I wasn't tracking it when I first started, and I really regret that. I wish like I would have been tracking it, and I was able with the student loans. I actually did go back to when I first started paying them and when I first took them out to go and look at how much progress I had made over the years. But I wish I had actually tracked it, because if I had tracked it, I feel like I would have been more motivated to pay it off, as well as just seeing the progress would have just made me feel better, because it's like, you know what, I am making progress. I'm not going behind, I'm not standing still, I'm making progress. So definitely go download this, and remember just to write down your goals. Go do that tonight. Go write down your goals. If you're a couple, go write down your goals with your spouse. You'll thank me for it later. You really will. So if you liked this content, be sure to hit the like button. It really helps my channel out. And if you're interested in hearing more financial advice, then please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate it.